Well, here at home, the effort to break up the Clark County School District continues, but it failed to make the ballot in 2024. You see, last month, the Community Schools Initiative submitted 220,000 signatures across Nevada for verification to get on that ballot. However, it didn't qualify. Fox 5's Drew Andre explains why.
Well, the Community Schools Initiative is not giving up. They gathered enough signatures, but not in each congressional district. However, they still believe there's a path to getting it on the ballot in the future. There's been a back and forth on whether to break up the country's fifth largest school district for years. At least 220,000 Nevadans supported allowing breakaway school districts.
The smaller school districts give the opportunity to the students to do better, more parent input, more transparency, more accountability.
Henderson City Councilman Dan Stewart led the initiative that aims to let cities and municipalities opt out of their current school districts and form their own. But CCSD Superintendent Jesus Jara called it a distraction, saying dismantling the economies of scale achieved by CCSD will raise the cost of educating all children and further exacerbate the inequalities impacting our neediest children and violate their rights. He added that Nevada ranks 49th in the nation in funding per student, saying if anything is to change, Nevada must provide more funding and academic rigor to improve educational outcomes. Previous efforts to break up the district with 300,000 students have been unsuccessful too, in part because of a concern that it could leave lower-income areas without the resources they need. Supporters of the initiative, though, believe the opposite.
You have Title I schools, you have disadvantaged kids. There's a lot of different categories that kids fall into that should be receiving additional money, either from the state or from the federal government. They are not.
Many hope the 2017 bill passed to allow for reorganization in the district would give more control to schools, handing principals more power to direct district resources. But that hasn't happened. Just under 141,000 signatures were needed for the measure to qualify, but they had to be spread out evenly across the state's congressional districts, which the Secretary of State's office says did not happen. And the Community Schools Initiative said with its broad support, they plan on being active during the 2023 legislative session and file another initiative in 2024. I'm Drew Andre, Fox 5 News, local Las Vegas.
Earlier this year, that initiative did receive support from 6 Chamber of Commerces, including Las Vegas, Henderson, and Boulder City. The Clark County Education Association opposed the initiative.